The Badge to the Bone podcast contains adult language, mature themes, psychological nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed here are ours and ours alone. Buckle up.
All right, welcome back to Badge of the Bone podcast. I'm Denny.
I'm Al.
We got another episode, Al.
Let's get to it.
Season 3 continues to roll. Al, brother.
Hey, Denny.
Here we are again.
Yes, here we are again.
A little change in setup in here, though, huh?
Yeah, I'm liking this.
Yeah, a little different.
It's very professional.
I think so close.
You want to tell everybody what you did?
Not really, but I will. All I did was just change with the what we're using for the mics. So we had some mic stands that were just desktop mic stands, which were great. I mean, they're nice. I mean, they work well, but the way we're set up here in the bar, we talk, we can't really look at each other. I can't really look at you, and it takes up a lot of desk space. So I put some boom arms in here. I had to be creative of how I mounted them, though, with how it is in here. But
how you mounted them.
but yeah, so we got them set up so it seems to be better. We get a little more desk space. I can actually now look at you while I'm talking as opposed to staring at the wall with the mic there and everything. So
yeah,
one of these days it'll be on YouTube and they'll be able to see and they'll get the visual of what we're talking about. But regardless,
I dare say that our pal Cats would be envious of this very professional broadcast.
I think he might
setup.
be mildly impressed, maybe.
He's over that. He's over that.
For the amateur hour, I think he'd say it's pretty good. But
we make it look good. It may not be good, but we make it look good.
I think so. I'm sure plenty would disagree.
It's hard. It's a non-visual medium, so it's kind of hard to appreciate.
Right, and it's like being on radio.
Yeah, yeah. So,
but otherwise, this setup seems to be pretty good.
I'm liking it. It makes spreading out all my pre-show.
Right, Sammy. You got plenty of room there for all your notes and stuff like that. Before we had the mics in the court and everything. It was just you didn't have much desk space. So now,
and I needed it tonight because I've actually done pre-show prep.
Hooked you up with a new setup.
Yeah. And why have I done pre-show setup? Because I'm pissed off.
Well, we have
I'm pissed off.
An important event and report to go over, and I think it's probably pissed a lot of law enforcement off. I mean, beyond law enforcement, it has just angered a lot of people.
Dude,
and it needs to be addressed.
I was I was fucking furious.
Yeah,
when this came out.
I almost hate reading it because it's just you shake your head and you go, "How does this happen? How does this happen in this day and age of policing? How does that occur?"
Well, given all the stuff we have discussed over the last 2 seasons, I think we have some of those answers already.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
there's a key word that goes to the root of the issue.
What we're going to talk about tonight is the Uvalde school shooting, which, unfortunately, as a country, we've had more than our fair share of these.
Yep.
And this one really chaps my ass something hard because of the fact that our profession, screwed up. I mean, really, it's epically screwed up.
Failure.
Yeah.
And multiple failures.
Well,
I mean, all the way around.
Director Clemens of the DOJ's cops office, described it as an epic failure of leadership. That's a direct quote.
Well, when you go over the report, it's hard to even find any redeeming quality.
It made me so angry that this is the first time I've actually gone and delved into a DOJ report like this.
Right. It's long.
Well, and I pulled the executive summary.
Yeah, that's what I
which,
read. That's the other one's 600 pages. So I got through some of that, but
I'm not sure I could make it through that. I mean, I can read 600 pages. It'd take me a while,
well,
but
a lot of it's there's a bunch of pages at the end for reference. So not all 600 pages of reading, but it's long. It is really long, and I got through some of it, but the executive was kind of what I focused on to get that summary.
Yeah, so we all know that this happened in March, or correction, May. It was May 24th, 2022. It's just a year and a half, a little over a year and a half ago. This occurred down in Uvalde, Texas, and we had 19 individuals that lost their lives that day. 19 students, children, and 2 teachers. This was a school that, unlike a lot of schools, unlike schools in our area, had its own police department.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of foreign to us because we don't really have that here.
No. We sit here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia, and that's just not something we have.
Right.
But they had their own police department. Granted, it's a 6-man department with the chief, who we are going to discuss at length.
I think they cover several schools though too, don't they?
Yeah,
it's not just the one school.
This is not a rural area, but it's not a
sure
crazy big area.
Right.
But this is probably, I was on the job 26 years. You were on the job 20.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably one of the biggest cock-ups by law enforcement that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that comes to mind, of course, is the Columbine, but but with that, that was prior to having all these. So that was prior to law enforcement evolving to the response that it is now to an active shooter. The active shooter response hadn't evolved, hadn't really been crafted yet, because we were early in the inception of having these incidents. So Columbine was really what unfortunately kind of launched that.
Right. And Columbine, in terms of a training or tactical type situation, that was not a failure because the people did what they were supposed to do at the time.
Correct. At that time, that was what the training dictated. But Columbine was really the incident that was reviewed that changed everything to prevent Uvalde from happening.
Correct.
Really, not the incident, but the response, preventing that type of response. So that's, and it didn't, at least not with Uvalde.
No. And it's not just the epic failure of law enforcement, particularly Chief Arredondo.
Yeah.
That, well, we got time. So, it's, what does this do to a profession that's already been slapped up one side and down the other?
Well, it just makes it look like shit again. I mean, it just kicks you right back down to the bottom. It's not what the profession needs.
No.
It's not what law enforcement needs. It's we can't have failures like that. Not at this juncture.
No.
With all that's going on and all the negative scrutiny, the last thing that the law enforcement profession needs is to have such epic failures that justify the scrutiny, or at least fuel those scrutinies. Those, man, it's
and you can look. Law enforcement's a contact sport.
Yeah, well,
right? Yeah, and people get hurt, shit gets broke. It's the way of the world, right? We are going, as we, the profession, are going to make mistakes.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we're human, as everybody else is.
Right. So sometimes we may make big mistakes. Sometimes we may make embarrassing mistakes. But what set this apart for me, what really made me so angry was each and every, I don't care where you are. I don't care if you work for the tiniest little constable's office in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere,
Yep.
or NYPD or FBI.
Right.
Every single one of us raises their right hand
Mhm.
and swears an oath. Swears an oath.
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
we could have a completely separate episode, and maybe we will at some point, of how many people take this job because it's just a job.
Oh, well,
You applied to, and we
well,
know
that's
these
another
people exist,
yeah,
right?
yeah, another episode.
Right. We know these people exist. Okay. But I don't think that was me. I don't think that was you.
No.
I don't think that was the vast majority of people in our personal and professional orbit.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, most of us, I mean, that's how a lot of us knew each other, so we had that commonality of that's a profession we wanted to go into, desire to go into, and work to go into, and
Right.
it wasn't a job.
But so this to me wasn't just a failure of leadership, right? This wasn't just a logistical goat rope, a tactical goat rope. It was a fundamental failure to adhere to our oath.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. I mean, beyond all the policy, beyond all the training, the fundamental oath that law enforcement takes,
Mhm.
this did not uphold it.
And we
At
talk
all.
as a profession,
Yeah.
as people, that, well, your integrity is everything in this job. God damn it. Failing your oath catastrophically like this,
Uh,
that's a violation of integrity.
oh yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's I don't Al, I get lost for the words just because I can't even imagine. I mean, you see how wrapped around the axle we are about it because it's the profession that we came up through and love. But
Yep.
for those families of children that were killed, how do they even wrap their head around that?
How do you ever trust?
I don't. I don't even like to think about it because it upsets me to think about it. It's just I can't think of anything worse.
And apparently they are making allegations. And for all I know, they're allegations. I don't know anything about it. I can't seem to get a good read on it in the press. But some are making allegations they're being harassed. The locality seems like it's trying to cover some stuff up.
What, the family members are being harassed?
There's a couple that have alleged being
No
harassed
shit.
by air quotes local law enforcement about
Jeez.
statements they've made. Now, that may be complete bullshit. We know how people talk.
Sure,
But are neither here nor there. Are these people ever going to trust the officers in their community again?
Yeah.
Are they going to trust
I don't know how you
officers
can.
anywhere?
I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can. Yeah, it's just like I said, when I read the report, I can't find anything redeeming out of it that I can hang my hat on and go, okay, well, they did this, or this was in their way, or this is what caused
No.
this. There's just nothing in it. There's no excuse
No.
and no
None.
legitimate explanation for any of the failures in there, Al.
None. Absolutely none. And going into this, not, and God knows I am not God's gift to the profession. But without even reading this, I said two things shit the bed. They failed to establish proper incident command.
Yep.
They failed to follow the training doctrine established by active shooter, specifically alert.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't do it. And lo and behold, I don't even think I'm 2 pages into the executive summary.
And there it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Black and white. So, real quick, and I know people follow the news pretty avidly, and some don't follow it at all. So let me just take you back.
Yeah.
Again, this is May 24th, 2022. This is Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. And we had 19 students and 2 teachers that were killed that day. So let me set you the scene. 11:37 a.m. The shooter, who, by the way, is not mentioned by name anywhere in the report, which I think is good.
They did, and they kind of talked about that in the beginning a little bit too.
Excuse me.
I agree.
It's 11:33. 11:33 a.m. The shooter enters the school. 11:36, 3 minutes later, you have 11 cops. Now, Uvalde School Police is, again, 6-man department. So you had some folks come in from the city of Uvalde PD. This included supervisors from both agencies, specifically Chief Arredondo. They were on scene inside the school. Now, big jump. 12:48, shooters down.
And they had gunfire when they arrived.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So it wasn't like they showed up and it's all silent.
Yeah.
They showed up, there was gunfire. And they were getting calls that gunfire was going on. That's what caused them to respond. They arrive. They hear gunfire.
Yeah, they took some rounds.
Actually, yeah, that's right.
Through the wall, as I understand it.
Right.
And there was some shrapnel from those rounds.
And debris and everything falling on them.
And nobody was seriously injured, but they pushed back. So you had 77 minutes right there. Okay, from the time this situation began to the time that this guy was ultimately put down, right? So let's compare that to March of 23. Covenant School in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which we've talked about on this show.
We did.
And we held that up as like, this is the greatest thing ever in terms of a proper response.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
10:13 a.m. first call. First officers roll up at 10:23 a.m. That shooter was put down by law enforcement at 10:25.
Within 2 minutes.
10:25.
10:23 was the first arrival.
10:23 was the first arrival.
10:25 shooter down.
Yes, and that shooter was on the second floor in front of a large glass window.
Yep.
Was putting fire down on responding officers.
Yeah, as they're coming in. Yep.
And they still got folks in and killed them in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they had to cover, if I recall correctly, the guy gets out of his car, he grabs his stuff.
I watched the video.
The hall. Yep. They have to get up to the second floor.
But he is driving the whole time to the threat.
Yeah. So here we have this situation, and Chief Arredondo, again, of the school police department, basically has established himself as incident commander. Now, it should be noted that in the after-action review and the subsequent disciplinary adjudications against him,
right?
He said he wasn't the incident commander. Okay. Neither here nor there, for the moment anyway. He responds. He didn't have a radio.
Well, he said that he didn't want it. He wanted his hands to be able to be free. And he made the excuse that, well, they don't really work that well in the school anyway. Who the fuck doesn't grab your radio when you're going into something like that? Who leaves a radio in the car?
You want your hands free? Pretty sure mic clips have been
How do you
around for
not
the
have
last 30
a
years.
mic clip on your radio? How does? I mean, wow, really? That's when I saw that was his excuse. I was like, you got to be shitting me. You wanted to keep your hands free. That means he didn't have his shit together. He wasn't prepared to do police work that day. He was prepared to drive around, maybe walk through a school and wave. He was not prepared to do police work.
No, not at all. So I'm going to just read an excerpt from the executive summary of the DOJ report. Within 3 minutes of the subject's entry into the school, 11 law enforcement officers from the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District and Uvalde police departments, including supervisors, arrived inside the school. Hearing continued gunfire, 5 of the responding first on scene law enforcement ran towards classrooms 111 and 112. Another 6 responding officers did not advance down the hallway, including UPD Acting Chief Mariano Pargas, who was in the best position to start taking command and control. Now, he didn't.
No.
He didn't.
Nope.
And to start coordinating with approaching personnel. One of the officers said to line up to make entry. So somebody there
was reverting to their training.
As they're supposed to. And within seconds, shots were fired from inside one of the rooms. 2 officers were hit with shrapnel, and all responders retreated to positions of cover. After 3 attempts to approach the classroom, the focus of the responders shifted from entering the classrooms 111 and 112 and stopping the shooting to evacuating other classrooms, attempting to negotiate with the subject, and requesting additional responders and equipment. With this shift from an active shooter to a barricade subject approach, which
wrong,
I'm not aware is anywhere in active shooter training.
It does not exist.
Some responders repeatedly described the subject over the radio as barricaded or contained. Chief Arredondo directed officers at several points to delay making entry into the classrooms in favor of searching for keys and clearing other classrooms. Chief Arredondo, the words of the report, who became the de facto on-scene commander, was without his radios, having discarded them during his arrival, and communicated to others either verbally or via cell phone throughout the response. Oh, boy. Leadership on scene, however, did not establish command and control to include an incident command post, staging area, or a clear perimeter around the hallway. Thus, arriving personnel, of which there were many, did not receive accurate updates on the situation or direction for how to support the response efforts. That's key.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's key.
It is.
So the alarm goes out. Suddenly you got everybody and their mother coming, right? They have no idea where to go or what to do.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Instant chaos.
Many arriving officers, based on inaccurate information on the scene and shared over the radio, or from observing the lack of urgency towards entering classrooms, 111 and 112, incorrectly believed the subject had already been killed or that Chief Arredondo was in the room with the subject. Oh, boy. This is wow. Oh, let's see. As leaders from additional law enforcement agencies arrived, including Uvalde County Sheriff Ruben Nolasco, the lack of clear communications and command structure made coordination difficult. Emergency medical responders faced similar challenges as they deployed. They struggled to identify who was in charge, and ambulances encountered streets blocked by law enforcement vehicles. This is a total clusterfuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It is a cascading series of failures brought on by that one primary failure of not establishing incident command.
Yeah, it's kind of like once that occurred, everything else just completely continued to fall to shit.
Yeah. At 12:21 p.m., 48 minutes after the subject entered the school, the subject fired 4 additional shots inside classrooms. Officers moved forward into formation outside the classroom doors, but did not make entry. Instead, assuming that the classroom was locked.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Yes.
No, nobody even tried.
No.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure everybody probably listening to this has heard the try before you pry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, everybody knows that shit. At least give it a try, see if it opens up.
And we're in just a minute, we're going to play something here for you guys, and we're going to talk about it. But Arendondo's trying to negotiate with this subject behind the door. And then he's, am I negotiating with somebody? Are they alive? Are there people inside that are alive? Well, they did get a call from a child.
Says, I'm in here with a bunch of victims.
And the guy's still up. And yet, still, a
child on the phone now talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and you're still outside the door. Come on.
It's unconscionable. It's unconscionable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even the follow-up to this was a nightmare. The crime, there was inadequate control of the crime scene.
I didn't dive as deep into that. I kind of skimmed through that, but that looked like it was a total shit show as well. They had no control over the crime scene.
Information going out to parents.
Wrong information, misinformation.
It said both impromptu and scheduled news conferences and media engagements contained inaccurate and incomplete information. Victims, families, and community members struggled to receive timely and accurate information.
Some were told your child's fine when the child is not. Some were told your child's deceased, is not deceased. I mean, it was just on every front.
Everything went to shit.
Yep. And there wasn't one point in there where I saw where somebody or the chief or somebody said, man, we really fucked up. We need to start getting our shit together right now, at least get the rest of this right. No, they just let it continue. I mean, it was a runaway train with a dumpster fire that just kept on going.
And no leader there stepped up.
No. Nope.
And after the fact, I mean, this is really the icing on the cake. Arendondo, because this was part of the info I went digging up. Well, what happened to this guy? I was even trying to find out more on his background, and I haven't done that.
There's not much. I did a little bit on that. There's not a whole.
He owns a mini storage in the area.
Yeah, he worked for another agency before he took that job. Because I think one of his supervisors for there actually said he was good or gave him praise, whatever. So, but
so he gets fired. The school board fires him as they should.
Yeah,
and there's still talk about criminal charges. I don't see those coming.
No, I don't see that.
I don't see. I don't see a legal avenue for that.
No. And I don't know, as bad as it is, I don't know that would be the correct course. I would have to give some really long, hard thought into that and looking at exactly what they would be considering charging. But I don't know that would be the avenue for that. I I don't think any good comes from that.
Well,
I mean, I understand for the victims' families, some sense of justice may come to have the person that was responsible end up being charged and potentially do time. But I don't know that overall, on the big picture of things, that does any good.
well, he sits for a deposition as part of the after action, which it's fairly lengthy. Not going to play it here, but the guy takes very little, if any, responsibility.
No, you
And
mean an organization leader not taking any responsibility for their shortcomings? We haven't heard of that.
I don't know what you're talking about. And there's some audio here, and you're going to hear a little bit of it, but it's lengthy. It's out there, but he doesn't take responsibility. So he gets fired. He appeals this, hires an attorney. He appeals this because
really,
yeah.
Really?
No. Wait for it. Wait for it. Pete is the victim of a public lynching.
What?
Yeah, that's it. He said he is a victim of a public lynching.
No, he's the result of a poor leadership and an absolute failed incident that cost a bunch of people their lives, and people are angry at that sumbitch.
That's what he said. It was a public lynching.
Public lynching.
Yes. And
give me a break.
So he apparently Texas, when you separate from an agency or you retire, they have a licensing discharge system that is very similar to the military.
Okay.
So, you retire honorably, you retire general, or you retire dishonorably.
Oh, really?
Right.
Wow, I did not know that.
And they say, so you retire, you have an honorable discharge.
Tell me he was dishonorably.
Well, he got a general discharge. He got a general discharge.
Because he's a chief.
Well, the general discharge was reflective of disciplinary issues. And I think the dishonorable one is reflective of like disciplinary and criminal issues. Something like that.
By a loophole, I guess.
So he challenges. He wants an honorable discharge.
What?
Well, thank God it was knocked down.
Arredondo, you don't get an honorable discharge.
Because, he's the victim. He's the victim.
He sucked ass.
Yeah.
And that's why he got a general.
So why don't we
want to play that?
Why don't we play that? And we're going to interject in here a little bit, talk about some of the things that are going on. Obviously, you're just getting the audio from this. And when we do drop this episode, I'm going to make sure that I also put a link up there so you guys can follow this. This is a video montage put together by CNN that kind of walks you through it. And, a lot of criticisms of CNN, but they actually did a good report on this. D, if you just want to hit the play button.
Let's go.
No, there's probably victims in there. And with the shots I heard, I know it's probably somebody who's going to be deceased.
Former Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo heard for the first time the day after the May 24th shooting, attempting to explain his actions. In new video obtained by CNN, Arredondo telling investigators he assumed students in the room with the shooter were already dead, so he chose to clear children from surrounding classrooms.
All right, so he assumed.
Yeah, just a guess.
Yeah, which is bad tactics.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's contradictory to anything that's in active shooter training.
Again, yes, you are 100% correct. He assumed they're dead. We're just going to clear this. Have you verified this? Nope. Oh, look at that. I just noticed that. There's a shield.
Oh, there is a shield.
In the frame. So we're looking at an image of folks, officers.
I don't know how far into the incident this is.
This is probably somewhere at the
halfway point, maybe?
Man, maybe, may not even be that.
Because it
far.
looks like there's a line of officers going out the door.
They do got a shield. There's a shield there, and it appears to be a ballistic shield.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Why is that shield not going through the fucking door after the bad guy?
Well, because Chief Pete was in charge.
When we keep playing?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, not in here. It's clear.
We now know he was wrong. At least 3 victims were pulled out of the room alive, who later died from their injuries.
My first thought is that we need to vacate. We haven't contained, and I know this is horrible. I know what our training tells us to do, but we haven't contained. There's probably gonna be some deceased in there, but we don't need any.
All right. That is not what the training tells you to do.
No, nowhere, not even close. That's
for those of you that are listening that are not.
That's why I don't know where's he getting this shit from. It's nowhere, nothing like that.
Right. So again, those of you that are listening to this that are not on the job, didn't spend any time on the job, what he's saying is bullshit.
Total.
More from out here. So I called out and I said, get these kids out. Whatever I told them, bust those windows, get them out.
Stunning admissions while being questioned by the FBI and Texas Rangers.
Throughout this deal, I was trying to make communication with him.
He's communicating. Can you hear me, sir?
Arredondo explains he kept trying to talk to the shooter, and for the first time we learned that he heard the gunman, alone in a room full of children, reloading his weapon. And still, he took no action that stopped the gunman.
I'm certain.
Okay, wait, hold on. You hear the reloading going on? That is your opportunity to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to the shooter? Why are you not shooting him? He is going to kill people. Why are you not shooting him?
Why is he bouncing back and forth like a ping pong ball in the hallway?
Because he ain't got no fucking radio.
Stepping out, being an incident commander, and having somebody else engaging at that door.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah.
I mean, and this is another thing. I think he needs to be at like 20,000 feet. And he's at ground zero.
Well,
he's not effective at ground zero.
Well, if you're a chief or you're a supervisor or you're a commander, whatever, if you're a supervisor and you arrive first on scene to an active shooter, well, now you're really kind of not the supervisor anymore. You are now an entry person, just like any other rank, and you got to make the entry. I've replayed this in my mind over and over and over again when I was on the road, when I was as a sergeant, as a lieutenant. I played it over in my mind again. How is this going to work? I got to make sure my transmission over the radio is clear. But that's as soon as you get out that car, or as soon as you arrive, when you're pulling up, you have to say, I am on scene. I'm making entry. I need the next incoming supervisor to assume incident command and establish a command post. Because at that, he really shouldn't be incident commander and trying to be right at the front of it.
No, you cannot, nor should you do both.
No. I mean, he should have been. I mean, there's many things he should have done, but I mean, not even any attempt to get somebody. Hey, I need a supervisor to take incident command. I need Chief so and so take incident command. Nothing.
He's got a border patrol tag team there within minutes. Probably one of the best tag teams in the country.
It's just
and he lets them sit on their hands. I mean, ultimately, they're the ones that engage, but they're idle way too long.
Right.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I heard him reload. I heard something over the pin. Obviously, we all know what that sounds like. Not with a pin. I'm sorry, with a clip. I'm assuming he reloaded, but I know he did something with it. I did hear that at one time. I don't know if there was a second. He never.
Okay, hang on one second, because I just want to throw this out there. If you hear him reload, if you're not going to take that as your opportunity that he's now distracted with a reload, and you go and you're going to shoot him. If he's reloading, that means he's preparing to kill more.
Yeah.
I mean, what did the guy say in Crimson Tide? You don't put a condom unless you're gonna,
Yeah.
I mean, you're reloading. That means he's going to kill more. You have to move. It's frustrating, Al.
responded at all.
Now considered one of the worst law enforcement failures in recent memory, Arredondo knew that criticism would come.
We're going to get scrutinized. I'm expecting that. We're going to get scrutinized. Why we didn't go in there.
Days later, Arredondo would be labeled the incident commander by the Texas State Police. They say he was the officer in charge and the man to blame for the deadly delay. Who was the incident commander, sir?
The chief of police of the Consolidated Independent School District is the incident.
That guy right over there.
It's his school. He's the chief of police.
Man, yeah.
So basically, I'm guessing that was the superintendent of DPS.
That's what it looked like.
Right. And basically, like, yeah, look at that guy over there. Yeah, that one who didn't do his fucking job.
Yeah. And they're correct. I mean, it is his school. It's his, his jurisdiction. He's the chief. He's the ranking officer. Until he says, "Hey, I need someone to take incident command because I'm actively involved in." Well, he wasn't active, but if you were actively involved with going after the shooter, then somebody else would take over. But
yeah,
nothing.
Arredondo, who presided over a 6-person police force before he was terminated in August, declined to comment for this story. Through his lawyer, he has previously denied that he was ever in charge and said he never issued any orders. A CNN analysis of never before made public body camera footage and newly obtained phone calls reveal Arredondo repeatedly directed the officers around him not to enter the room with the gunman. This is at 11:40 a.m., just 7 minutes after the shooting began.
Hey, this is Arredondo. It's an emergency right now. I'm inside the building. I'm inside the building with this man. He has an AR-15. He shot a whole bunch of times. He is in one room. I need a lot of firepower, so I need this building surrounded. I need it surrounded with as many AR-15s as possible.
As more officers with body cameras responded to the scene, we can hear Arredondo start to talk to the shooter.
Sir, this is Arredondo with the school district police. Can you please put your firearm down? We don't want anyone else hurt, sir.
Really?
Arredondo can be seen trying to open the door to an adjacent classroom while giving commands to other officers.
As soon as I clear this room, I'm going to verify what's been vacated guys before we leave.
Time was not on his side, and it reflects a mindset that goes directly against active shooter training.
That was on our side.
The policy emphasizes
Really?
speed. Any officer to go immediately towards the sound of gunfire and stop the shooter. Arredondo last completed the training in December 2021, 5 months before the Uvalde massacre. At about 12:12.
So right now, they're showing how many officers do you think are there?
Oh, there's a whole line of them. They're all the way out the door and around the building.
Yeah, I mean it looks like the line for the log flume at King's Dominion in July. I mean, there's so many cops standing in line.
It looks like the Dunkin' Donuts by the police station when they have free coffee day. I mean, there's a line of them. But that time was on our side. Where the fuck are you getting that?
Well, once again, I think you said something before we went on the air. Like, did he actually go to that training, or did he have somebody just sign?
That's right.
He was there.
Yeah, did he actually sit through it, or did he have his buddy put his name on the log and he jetted on out and fucked off the rest of the day, or whenever went took a nap or something? Because they said he took it 5 months before he had this incident. How the hell?
Yeah.
Do you not retain any of it? I mean, and then he's in there going, I got a guy shot a bunch of people. He's got an AR-15. Why are you not shooting him right now? He should not be able to hear you talking to him because you're too busy shooting him.
Well, let's keep playing because he does have some sort of response for that.
12 p.m., a crucial transmission from the
Look at all the
Uvalde
officers.
dispatcher comes over the radios in the hallway, informing the officers that a child in the room with the gunman called 911 and says she's surrounded by victims. The dispatch blares within earshot of Arredondo. He doesn't seem to hear it because he's talking, repeating instructions for officers not to enter.
Hold on. We're going to clear the building first, and then we'll... Oh, these are empty. Sure.
Officers actually turn down their radio. so they can hear Arredondo give the order.
Actually, turn the radios down, please.
It seems clear to the men on this side of the hallway Arredondo is in charge.
I don't know. You see this guy right here in the front? I'm pointing to him. He's shaking his head back and forth.
Yeah.
I think he's like, this is fucked up. This is something's wrong. You can see him shaking his head back.
And the town constable.
Yeah.
And when a nearby officer suggests that a Border Patrol agent looks like they are about to go in,
You ready for friendlies? Wait, nobody entering.
Arredondo said he assumed Border Patrol agents at the other end of the hallway would be the ones to make the breach.
Well, there's
Said
another
they had
assumption.
rifles, and he and his men only had pistols.
Okay, stop that.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, so once again, he assumes
Mm-hmm.
what somebody might do.
Else was going to do.
And he thought they were going to make entry because they had rifles and all the requisite gear that he did not. Okay? Why in the hell would you not, if that's what you thought, or you genuinely knew they were there, why would you not redeploy them to right where your target's at? Bring them down to that doorway and have them breach.
Because he didn't do anything. Yeah, and I read a lot where they talked about they were worried, he's got an AR, we've only got pistols. Well, that's a gun, man. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you got a pistol, shotgun, rifle.
Mm-hmm.
You have to engage.
Yeah.
Those are probably Bortac. Smart thing for us to do, obviously, with a handgun, is we need to let these guys make entry when it's that time.
I gotta go back.
But it wasn't just handguns. As body camera footage clearly shows, there were plenty of heavily armed officers on scene.
Rifles everywhere.
Some in the very first moments after the shooting began. Arredondo, for the first time, also explaining why he thought the door was locked, admitting he never tried to open it.
I have it in my picture in my mind that I saw that. I saw that hammer in there. And usually when that's there, that's locked. Man, 90% of the time.
You still try it, dumbass. 90% of the time, it's like, you still try it. Are you fucking kidding me? Jeez.
One of these, I think.
We now know investigators believe it was unlocked, and there was no need to wait for a key. At the end of the interview, Arredondo says that rather than breaching the door, he even considered trying to shoot through the walls to kill the gunman.
Shoot through the walls.
Start shooting through that wall, which has been stupid, but you start thinking there's already somebody deceased in there. You want to start, but obviously we don't ever train to shoot through walls. It's not something that it's not probably the smartest idea, but you always question yourself.
Shimon.
Well, Chief, there's a whole lot of training you didn't do that day, so shit.
I don't know.
What in the world, Al?
So many questions.
Make some sense of this for me.
So, first of all, let's go back to his termination and his discharge and all that. Okay. One thing I did not see in any of the things that I read, including the DOJ report, was this issue of integrity vis-a-vis his statements about I wasn't in charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He's saying repeatedly, I wasn't in charge. I wasn't in charge. And all of the body camera video shows that while he was grossly ineffective, he was most certainly in charge.
But he was given plenty of directions. Bad directions.
There was no mistaking that he was in charge.
Oh, absolutely.
It was crystal clear.
Yes.
And for him,
my kid could have looked at that video and told you who's in charge.
Yeah. So for him to say, I was not in charge, this isn't on me. I wasn't giving orders, because he said, I was not giving orders. Okay.
I saw a whole bunch right there.
He has lied. He's lied. That's an integrity issue. That's a dishonorable discharge under their system, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
You have lied.
Yeah. Why nobody?
So not only did you violate your oath by failing to act in the most catastrophic way possible.
You lied at the
You
investigation.
lied.
Mhm.
You lied.
And he lied trying to protect his own ass. All these people got killed. Kids, children. And you're telling me that you don't even have it in you, enough in you to at least be truthful and go, yeah, I was in charge and I did not revert to my training and I failed.
I would go so far as to say, not only did he lied in an official statement.
Yeah. Well,
which,
yeah.
Sounds like it's kind of like, being nitpicky, but it makes it even more important.
Well, it does when they're doing a report for an investigation with the DOJ and then you lie. But that goes to show what that man is about. Because after all of that, instead of standing up and at least going, yes, I was in charge. These are the things I did wrong. For whatever reason, I did not revert to what I was trained to do, and the incident didn't go as it should, and I'm responsible for that. No, he doesn't take any responsibility. None whatsoever. And he is the full responsibility. I mean, it all falls on him.
If he had stepped back, yielded incident command to someone else, because for whatever reason, he got so wrapped around his own axle, he for the sake of argument here, he admits that he shit the bed on his training.
Right.
My mind went blank. I went into panic mode. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I couldn't think clearly. I know I'm the chief and it's my responsibility, but I couldn't function. Okay. That's bad enough.
But at least you salvage.
But
that you're at least going to be honest and you're going to take the responsibility.
Yeah. I slept through class. I had, Sergeant Smuckatelli sign me in.
I was doing conference calls outside the room. But, at least you would have at least had
owned up to
accepted
your failure.
That's right.
Stepped back, got the hell out of the way.
Yep.
And he would have lost his job.
Yep.
He should have lost his job.
He should have resigned before they had to change. He should have been, I'm going to step away and resign because I did not live up to my expectation.
And I acknowledge that part of this could be he just, that's what happened. He went into panic mode because you do see him going up and down the hallways. His movements are almost frantic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like somebody who really doesn't,
he's out of his element.
He presents as somebody who knows he's got to do something and has no idea whatsoever.
Doesn't know what that is. Yep. Doesn't know what that is. I need to do something, but I'm not sure what it is that I need to do. So he's just
and so then it becomes an ego thing. And we have talked at length on this show that we have a crisis in leadership.
Yeah.
Within this profession. We know it. You can go to other podcasts, friends of ours.
Yep.
And here's the same thing.
Reoccurring theme across many podcasts.
And look, that is not us just trying to shit on the bosses. Okay. Let me make that clear because there are some excellent bosses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some great leaders, great bosses, but
there are some excellent chiefs out there. There are some excellent sheriffs out there. There are excellent directors, agency heads.
But it seems that they're more the exception than the rule.
Yes. And we are promoting people
beyond their capability.
And I think that's quite possibly what happened here.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we got on the hot mic that you really believe that he was just elevated beyond his capability. And I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think you see that in the body worn camera. I think you point out good about the way he looks frantic, his mannerisms, that he's just not able to grasp the situation. And he's freezing up.
He looks like somebody that realizes he desperately needs to be in control and clearly is not.
Mm-hmm. But Al, you also mentioned another thing. I want to kind of get into that too a little bit, just because you mentioned the other chiefs responded,
Yeah.
other command staff members, and
Yeah.
nobody.
So you had for example, and I think he was one of the first ones there, was the Uvalde city police chief.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you. I mean, you and I have known each other for 30 plus years.
Yep.
Right? So,
Yep.
and neither of us are wallflowers, right? We're for good or for bad, we're going to tell you what we think, right? So if I see somebody who would, especially in a crisis, and I like, this is not working. Okay, do something, say something. Why would you not do something or say something? And we've all had times like that in our careers where you see, this person's not functioning or this situation's not working, and you step up and you address it. And it may be a relatively small situation. It may be something earth shattering like this.
Yeah, I really would like to think that a agency head from another agency that's there would realize that this situation is not under control.
Hey, Pete, this isn't looking good.
I'm
We
gonna
need
take
to do something. I got guys here. Step back.
Yep, I'm gonna take it. Or you put your guys in stage right here. I've got a team coming up, and just take
your guys and concentrate on clearing the rest. We're going to focus.
I've got a team coming to the room, and we're going to move. But none of them questions to.
And the question is why?
Well, you made a good point on it, because we talked about too. Is there no officer out there that's, and I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was many officers going, "This is fucked up. What are we doing standing out here? Why
you mean to tell me?"
Here?
Yeah, exactly. With all those cops,
there was probably several that were like, "Why the fuck are we standing right here? What are we doing?" But none of them were gonna take the reins.
And a lot of people would say that is an argument against the paramilitary model in police. I do not have a witty retort for that.
No, I don't. And that would be part, but you do have to have a rank structure.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to have a rank structure.
Yeah. But we've all, we may have been that person, the 15 or 20-year-old salty vet that, just doesn't care anymore and is going to go, "You guys are fucking up. Let's go do something."
Right. But it is it's difficult to kind of pin that, because where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Because you get an officer, senior officer that shows up to an incident that may not be as extreme as this, but nothing's getting done. They're like, "Okay, fuck it, I'm doing my own thing." And they do it. Well, they may get the right result and still get written up, still get charged for insubordination, whatever. And then, God forbid,
for them to go cowboy, the risk is huge to them as far as criminal penalties, civil penalties.
Because if anything goes wrong, anything that goes wrong, or any kind of outcome, they're going to go right back to that and go, "See, you went around the chain of command, and that's why this went sideways, or this is why we had this unfavorable result." And they would pin it on that. So that's really why you're not going to get.
But it also kind of
a veteran officer to come in there and
if somebody's listening that has any firsthand knowledge, I'd really love for you to reach out to us and let us know, because one of the things I got to thinking about was what was the work climate like within the school police?
Yeah, that would be great,
or
to understand that,
or the city police. Was this, was Arredondo, and I don't know. I mean,
we got plenty of listeners in Texas. So.
But was he somebody that, like, was like a little 10-plated tyrant? You couldn't tell him what time of day it was,
right? Or was it the opposite, where they're like, "This guy doesn't know what he's doing. I hope is it that leader where you're like, man, I hope they're not in charge of a major incident, because we're fucked."
But
you have those?
What was the work climate like?
That's a good question.
Apparently there was no MOU,
right?
How did these departments get along? I mean, what was Arredondo like on a normal day?
Right.
As a chief, what was the city chief like?
Yeah.
On a normal day. I mean, we've talked a lot about these situations where climate breeds problems.
Oh yeah.
The work climate, the leadership climate breeds problems.
I would love to know what the confidence level was.
That's another one.
You know, what did is it something with the officers? You know, you have certain supervisor leaders that you're like, oh yeah, if he says this, we're doing it. Or when that supervisor shows up, you're like, oh yeah, we're going to be good to go. And you have some that show up and you go, oh gosh, this is not going to go well. And was that the clown? Was that this man, this chief? He's a
and that's one
empty
thing
uniform.
You don't get out of this report,
right?
And that's something. If somebody's listening, if somebody's anywhere near Uvalde or has an end,
we've got Texas listeners. You know, I mean, shoot us an email.
We really want to know. We just.
Oh, that's just a great point, because that really is a big part of the dynamic of this. I do think that contributes. I do think the climate of the agency contributes, and how that leader is viewed.
Yeah, I mean, we worked. I know I've worked for leaders that you didn't want to say, you know,
hey, we should do this.
No, it's like straight up Sergeant Major Plumley, right? Like, you know, good day, sir. How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of that's you don't want to talk to these people.
No, you don't go up to that guy and suggest anything.
Like it doesn't matter how bad you got to take a leak. If he's in there, you're waiting.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's just it's that kind of personality. And was that something that was in play there?
Dude. Hey, let's take a quick break. So lately we've had a lot of folks ask us, hey guys, how can we help support the podcast? Well, there's a lot of ways you can do that. And first is, wherever you are listening to Badge to the Bone, whatever platform you're using, make sure to follow us. That's a huge help. Also, go over to our Facebook page and make sure to like and follow us there. Another way you can support the podcast is through a monetary donation. If you notice in the descriptions to each episode, there's a link that says support this podcast. Click that link and you can make a monetary donation as small or as big as you like. You can also make it reoccurring. Any amount is helpful, and we are appreciative. And the last way you can support the podcast is through our Badge to the Bone podcast store. The link for that is located on our Facebook page and on our website, badgetothebone.com. And we've actually got some pretty cool stuff on the store. We've got t-shirts, we've got hoodies, stickers, we've got tumblers. The tumblers are great. I take my tumbler everywhere. It's awesome. Anything you get helps support this podcast. It helps us keep this thing going. So thanks so much, but let's get back to the show. All right, that was a nice little break.
Yeah, so again, what's going on? What is it like down there day to day? The other thing is that we have seen, and I know we've talked about it a little bit on the air. I know we've talked about it offline. I've talked about it with other friends. You know, we're seeing this emphasis on de-escalation. And we're not seeing a lot of emphasis on when you have to escalate, the violence of action, the things that you may have to do, the violence you may have to commit as part of the job.
Yeah.
Because that's what saves your life or the lives of someone else. I know from the last few years that I was on the job that de-escalation emphasis came at the expense of teaching people to engage.
Sure.
You know, I had a conversation offline with a friend who's, you know, still in the training realm, but is out of the job. And that's probably one of his biggest criticisms right now is we're not teaching officers, at least sufficiently teaching them how to engage. It's so much emphasis on disengagement to the point where you have agencies that are actually telling people to run away.
You're right. Run away.
I mean, that's actually come up as de-escalation is complete disengagement.
Retreat.
Yeah, which is bullshit. And we get into this situation of, and it's been in the discussions probably all the way Ferguson, of the warrior versus the guardian model.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, I definitely wanted us to touch on that because I don't think anybody's talking about that. And I don't think anybody is going to talk about that. And, you had this big push, and as someone that's read Lieutenant Colonel Grossman's books, who's done his seminar, and who we had on the show, had him here, and we'll have him again.
And we may ask him some of these questions.
Right. But I remember when you started getting these messages of, oh, police can't be warriors. They're not warriors. You're teaching to be, combat people, and they need to be guardians. They need to be guardians. And
my favorite, the militarization of police.
Right. And my saying always was, that's fine. You want to call yourself a guardian. You want to be a guardian. You can be a guardian all day long. But when the fight shows up, you better be a warrior. Because if you're not a warrior, you're either not going to survive or you're not going to do your job to protect others. But you have to be that warrior. And I think a lot of that focus has made officers kind of transition away from that to where we're not warriors. And I think that's a big reason why those guys kind of froze up when they started taking fire, Al. I don't want to say that every officer there was not in the warrior mind frame, but I think those initial officers that took that fire, I don't think they were in the warrior mindset. I don't think they were mentally prepared to face an incident like that. And when they started taking fire, it was they froze up, and then the chief froze up, and then it was a hold, and then it just all went to shit from there. But I do think there is a lot of that has to do with not being in that warrior mindset, not being mentally prepared to engage.
Yes. And everybody, I think, misconstrues what a warrior is. A warrior is not somebody who's looking for a fight.
Right.
It is simply somebody who is prepared for a fight.
Mentally prepared to handle
and can take action.
Yes.
And
can overcome resistance, be injured or be hurt, and still continue to fight and work through.
And a warrior can be a guardian, but a guardian cannot necessarily be a warrior.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why I say
I would argue even that a warrior is always
a guardian. Yeah, and I agree with that. And that's what I said. You can be a guardian, but when the fight comes, and part of that warrior is having the courage. Because you mentioned, again, before we went on recording, that having courage is not an absence of fear.
No.
And that was a great point, because it's not. I mean, courage is you have fear, but you're still able to work through that fear to do your job, to get it done. And that's part of what that warrior mindset is. Yes, you're afraid. You're afraid that guy's going to shoot you or kill you, but you've worked through that fear to go and harness your strengths to go do the job, complete the task. But it's that mental preparedness
to overcome.
I think a lot of officers do suffer from that mental preparedness. I don't think people really take that to heart, is preparing in my mind how I'm going to handle this, how I'm going to respond.
Well, it takes us back to some things that we have discussed in previous episodes, which we know that the state of the profession, all of the slings and arrows that the job has taken, has really impacted both recruiting and retention.
Yeah.
And so, how many people are taking the job? And, I part of my job before I retired was the hiring process. And again, I've mentioned I came from a non-traditional agency. We were not a 911 agency. And, I had people who were applying like, hey, you didn't want to do 3-4 years on the road with a traditional agency before you came over to us, which, used to be the norm.
Right. Yeah. Right? That was pretty typical for y'all.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
In many cases, it was much longer.
Right. Yeah. Most everybody there was all prior PD or sheriff or something.
It used to be they didn't look at you until you had 5 to 10, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And, you go, why do you not, you go put in for this county or that. And they go, well, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Or I've even had ones that were very candid and go, well, I figured this is safer.
Oh, God. Then
And
you're in the wrong place.
so, well, exactly. So are you getting people, and I would argue that you are getting people that are coming into this job. This is, this is where they landed. They put in 6 applications to places, and so-and-so PD was the first one that contacted them. And they're like, well, salary looks good.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, absolutely.
And then they're in it, and they show up every day. Maybe they write a good report. They look good in court,
but they're not battle ready.
They're not mentally prepared and engaged.
Yeah.
And I go back to something that I believe it was a quote from one of the former heads of the FBI Training Academy. I think so. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. That day one shows all these videos of officers getting involved in shootings, officers being injured, officers being killed in some cases, and just inundates the recruits with this, and then steps back, turns off the video, and goes, okay, you guys have signed up for a profession that may cost you your life. And some of you may not be okay with that. And that's fine. That's fine. No harm, no foul. Go on, get up, go, be on about your business. There's no shame in admitting that, right? You guys that stay, you need to make peace with that. You need to be prepared for that.
Well, I think that's why that bulletproof mind, warrior mindset, those things are so important. I think they've been taken out of context too long, and you're hurting people. And I do think that Uvalde is an example of part of that. I do think part of the problem with Uvalde was absolutely a lack of mental preparedness, a lack of warrior mindset to deal with that situation. But that's why it's so important, because, let's face it, the truth of the matter is most officers would never face a situation to the extreme like Uvalde. Most officers would not fire their duty weapon other than going to qualify. So most days you're going to be responding to calls, and you'll get some fights and scuffles here and there, but the majority you're taking reports, or you're writing tickets, and you're going and talking to the same drunk person you got to arrest 20 times again, and you're going to the same domestic. So those are your routines, and it's easy to not think about that. And so when that does happen, and if you are not taking the time to really prepare your mind, mentally prepare yourself to do that, to make sure when you step in that uniform, when you step on to work, you are ready for that type of incident to happen. Then when it does happen, you're probably not going to perform.
And just to be clear, we are not talking about hypervigilance, being a coiled spring.
No,
because that's something that's going to do its own mental damage.
Sure. But it's just a simple, just being prepared, thinking about those things, just thinking about some of those scenarios in your head and how you're going to react, and making sure you have all your gear together, and and making sure you're good with your weapon, making sure that you're good with your draw, make sure you know how to get to everything. You're not getting out your police car and going, oh, I'm going to leave my radio in the car because I don't want to hold it in my hand, because you don't have the right equipment and shit like that. You don't have those things. So I think those are important.
Oh, extremely. And the thing is, you have a job that's already been beaten up on so badly. And this one relatively small town in Texas, it's going to have a ripple effect through every part of the country. And people are going to be looking at officers in terms of what happened at Uvalde.
Well, now they're going to be getting the comments of, oh, y'all just a bunch of cowards like the guys in Texas.
Oh, and I shouldn't. I mean, common sense would tell me not to read Reddit comments, for example. But
don't do that.
I have.
Gosh,
I've seen it.
It's going to be brutal.
Those comments are out there.
It's all going to be cowardice, and you guys are cowards, and it's going to be brutal.
They're out there,
and it's not what the law enforcement profession needs right now.
No, it's not. And obviously, this is a little bit afield of what we normally talk about, but I think it has bearing. I think we can talk about mental health on the individual level, and we can talk about it as a collective thing too.
Yeah.
All of us within the profession, and this is something that's going to damage it. And it was driven per our thesis. A lot of this is driven by leadership, and I think we saw that in Arredondo.
Oh yeah, how many times did we talk about leadership last season?
Yeah, and I don't want to keep beating people up because again, there are good ones out there. There really are.
It would be great to have that inside scoop because I wonder. On top of that, is he like a toxic boss? On top of being an inept tactician, I mean, completely inept tactician, and then if he's going to be a toxic boss on top of that, then fuck.
Yeah, and I'd love to know
who would want to work there.
So again, anybody that knows, anybody that knows somebody that knows, send them our way. We'd love to talk about this some more. And I think we also came up with some questions for Colonel Grossman if we get a chance to talk to him again.
So yeah, I think he is coming back. So
very good.
Ain't coming up. So
very good.
But yeah, I mean, I think it was a good discussion, an important discussion.
I just had to get it off my chest.
All right, Al, I think that's going to wrap us up.
I think it does.
Where can they find us?
They can find us at badgetothebone.com. They can also find us on Facebook at badgetothebone.
Also, shoot us an email at wearebadgetothebone@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Be great to hear from you. But until then, as always, be safe
and be well.